What's up? This is Quiz. I'm just gonna post a quick video on why I think everyone's wrong and why I think we're about to go see new highs. Here's our yearly chart. You can see we're putting in this really funky candle. So this is interesting because look, this either means we're gonna break out a ridiculous 1,000 points to 7,000, or we're gonna retrace all of this back to the 4,800. Uh, but exciting year ahead for sure. This is why I think everyone's wrong. Um, this whole drop, we started dropping before the tariffs, right? Started dropping before the tariffs. This is Liberation Day, or no, this is Liberation Day. And, we put in this ridiculous 50-point candle when Trump, not halted, but, put that pause in. That was it, a 90-day pause, I believe, for the rest of the world except for China. And then, I forgot what this bottom was. But there is, so look, we have like poor bull
Iceberg and
structure
Cuba.
down here. Um and matter of fact, there's a little gap right here. So there's poor bull structure here at about 50, 70 to 5,000. I think worst case scenario will trap the 5,400. But I'm still not even worried about any downside right now. Why? Because I believe whales smell blood up here. I think if we were down here, whales wouldn't give two shits, right? But because look, imagine. So look, Toots sold the highs for sure. They sold January, okay? So where's January? January's like all of this. So they sold all of this, right? And it makes sense because look, we have this beautiful bull structure right here, and then it randomly gets snapped, right? And they started selling all of this. So really, like some of them have sells at 6150, but most of them are probably here at 5950, right? And look at where we are. We're at 5,900. So technically they barely made any money. They made $50, 50 points. This whole bottom, they might have took profit, sure, but they definitely did not buy. They didn't buy this 100%. Retail bought all this. Okay, people that fuck with Trump bought this. Maybe some of them bought here. I doubt they bought this because this looked scary, right? I even sold half my positions on this. Uh, and then I chased back up here. But yeah, I think whales smell blood up here because if we go any higher, every institutional seller is about to lose their position to retail. So they have to manufacture a panic drop to 5,400, or I think a whale is going to force them to buy higher. So why do I think that? One, just because of how fast the market moved up, but two, I just think as far as the data is concerned, the whole soft data that's been driving us down never materialized, and they're actually starting to flip their sentiment. Um, and what's crazy is the last couple of years, I still haven't seen a FOMO buy. I've been waiting for this FOMO buy to call like a blow off top, but it won't happen. It's crazy. They keep figuring out some way to just come up with random downside. Like we were about to FOMO in August right here, remember? We were about to FOMO here, but then they did the Japan flush. And this was the carry trade flush, which remember this one was ridiculous, right? But we just doubled that with this tariff fear, which this should not have been bigger than this. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But, regardless of your political bias, this was for sure an overreaction, and it shows by this bounce, right? Now, everyone's going to tell you this is a bear market bounce, which it is. Except for, are you going to really consider this a bear market, or are you going to consider this an overreaction? I'm still in the camp of this was just I hate Trump overreaction, right? I don't care how much you hate the dude. This sell-off does not justify what actually happened in reality. I'm still targeting uh like mid sevens, like 730 to 760. I'm positioned for it. I'm not telling you guys something I'm not putting my money on. Uh, but yeah, I don't see the only fear that I actually do see is the bond market. Okay, is these bad boys. There's obviously billionaires selling this off. Okay, it's clear as day. Like, look, everybody wants to blame Trump. This is why we're selling off. This has nothing to do with Trump. Biden took over the market. Okay, Biden took over the market, and we just dump. The bond market just dumps. Powell. When did Powell? Powell said some bullshit somewhere around here. Powell cuts rates for Biden, and we dump, right? And look at my chart. This cyan, like we were this purple, we were in a bull trend, and then he decides to cut rates for Biden right before the election, and we break the uptrend right here. This is all Powell's fault. I don't know how they've convinced the world that it's Trump's, but this is 100% Powell's fault. Bonds are gonna die. They're gonna continue to die just because there's too many outside factors influencing it right now, and they don't care if they lose money. They're trying to prove a point. Um, but now what's crazy is you see this liquidation when it does bounce, it's gonna go crazy. All right. Do not. I would not front run TLT though. Let TLT die first, and then buy the bounce. Don't buy before the bounce. That's how you're gonna lose. Let's see what else do we got here. And then like every YouTuber in the world right now is selling a bearish thesis right now, and I get it. Be safe, be bearish, but I think you are missing out on an opportunity, especially if you have a small account. If you have a small account, you should not be trading options or futures. You should be buying these uh, decade lows on some of these companies, okay? Look at Pepsi. Let's take a look at Pepsi. I really need to cut this video short, but everybody knows what this is. You know somebody that drinks this, and Pepsi has done historically great, brother. And Pepsi is now at what high? A 2019 high. So there's mad discounts on blue chips right now. Blue chips that pay dividends. And if you do not have a port that, not that you can live off of, but that you can comfortably, like, not worry about things, as far as just, how do you say, like, you shouldn't have to be reliant on your portfolio. Okay. If you have a bad day on your portfolio and that causes you to freak out and think your life's over, like you're not managing your risk properly, right? You have to, when we're positioning for these giant moves, they're short-term gambles. because the long-term goal is to own assets. And if that is not your long-term goal, you are wrong and you should lose. But yeah, I'm still long here. I might hedge with some puts, but I don't think anytime soon. I want to see these levels get hit first. I do believe that we just created this divergence. Look, so on the 30 minute is the only one it shows. So this divergence right here between these 2 days, we created a buyer's divergence. I believe we are going to break these 6,000 high. I know for sure based on this divergence, we will at least test this 5930. But I do believe this divergence is insinuating we go test this high again. But yeah, what's today? Today's like Sunday. Sunday. So Monday market, I'm targeting 950. We should either hit 850 or 950 on Monday. This should give us direction. If it holds 58.50, I could see it bouncing back up. I could also see it rejecting 50 to go back down. But it's going to be a break of one of these. It's got to break and hold for direction. So it's got to break this 850, back up to it and hold and push back down. But once one of these levels breaks, I believe that's when we'll have our direction. Good luck.